call. Please welcome to the stage the incomparable Ernie Hudson.
Hey guys.
It's on.
It's on. It's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how you guys doing? Good. Good.
We're gonna line people down this aisle with questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're a little bit blinded behind this. Oh, they put these back up. Yeah, I want this one out. That makes it that makes it easier to see us.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So who's got a question for Mr. Hudson? I would like to know, what was your experience comparatively between doing the first film, which nobody knew it was going to be huge, and then being called back to do the second film, especially since you got to make the poster the second time?
Yeah. What was? Just so I'm clear, this is the best spot right here, right?
Yeah.
But
what would you like?
No, I just.
You want to come out front?
I feel a little bit. Oh, I see where the lights are kind of blinding. I feel a little kind of strange back there. Kind of. Okay. All right. Good. That's better. Hey guys, how you doing?
Awesome.
I'm like so tired.
Oh, how you feel, sir?
I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm like, okay, this is like, but I'm so excited to be here. I'm sure you can tell how excited I am, right? So, there's a chair too. Okay, good. So, yeah, you know, obviously, the question was, how did I feel about? I wasn't sure if it was how do I feel about doing the second movie or finding out the second movie, or how do I feel about not being on the first poster? You know, how was the first movie compared to the second? The first movie I thought was much more original and a lot of fun doing. The second movie I made more money, so it was more fun. You know, the money makes a really, really big difference. And but I love both of the movies. I know Bill had some problems with the second movie. I personally didn't. And I've been hearing there'll be a third movie, so I'll answer that before anybody asks me. I don't know anything about another movie, except the studio keeps telling me there's going to be a third movie. And I used to go and repeat that, but it's been 20 years of it's going to be a movie until now. I don't know. You know, but when I see a contract and when I see some money, then I'll know it's real. And I haven't seen any money, okay? So, so as far as I know, it's not happening. But if it does happen, I'd love to be a part of it. And I know you guys have been like amazingly supportive of the movie and the franchise. And guys fill their backpacks and their jumpsuits, and it's in their ectomobiles. So it's all kind of cool. So okay, if I'm rattling on here, I apologize. All right. So what's up?
Hello, my name is Chris Turner. Sorry. I do sound. Okay. Hi, my name is Chris Turner. I'm a filmmaker, actor, cosplayer from right here in Miami.
Closer to the mic. Kiss it.
All right. First met you 3 years ago from Miami Comic Con, and I want to say, what is your biggest inspiration behind your acting career, and also, what was it like working with John Barrowman? Because I'm also a Whovian.
Working with who?
John Barrowman on Torchwood, Miracle Day.
Oh, okay. I didn't know his name. The guy on Torchwood.
Yes. John Barrowman.
I don't tend to get the guys' names. I mean, I'm just working there for a few days, so no, I know his name again was what? No, it was a lot of fun. I loved working on Torchwood, and if it had gone into a series, I guess the character would have been back again. But he's a nice guy.
Actually, it was a series before Miracle Day. It was shown on BBC 3. It was a spin-off series of Doctor Who.
Did anybody else here didn't know that besides me? Okay, that's good to know. It's important safety tip, I think. But yeah, no, it would have been fun. I loved working on Torchwood. I liked the character, and there was another part of the question. What was the question?
The other question was, what is your biggest inspiration behind your successful acting career?
My biggest inspiration behind my successful acting career. You know, I don't know. I don't have heroes in that sense. My grandmother.
Let me rephrase that. What made you want to become an actor?
Yes.
What made me want to become an actor? Well, I don't know if you guys are like me, but when you're sitting and you're broke, you know, and you're thinking, I got to do something, I'm going to be like a complete loser, You know, you work that job and you think, man, I'm working every day. I'm not saving any money. I got to do something with my life. And I kind of suck at everything.
Oh.
Or I don't really suck at everything. I can do things, but I don't want to do them. You know, you go to work and you kind of go, it's like just Wednesday, my God. You know? So I had a lot of jobs like that, or a few jobs like that. And then, by accident, I walked on stage. I got asked to do this play. And when I walked on stage, I just knew. I mean, I knew I was home. And I knew I could do this for the rest of my life. And people said you won't make any money at it, but I thought, you know what? I don't have any money anyway, so I'm not going to lose any money. So this is what I do. This is what I love to do. And that lasted for almost 50 years. Except now,
You make money at it.
well, now, unless it's something really interesting, I really just don't feel like it.
Really?
You know what I mean? I'm tired. Because you know what happens is, you get into something and they say, okay, when you do this role, and when it comes out, and it's going to be so big, and they're going to discover you, and you're going to be the next James Bond, and this is going to be the biggest thing, and everybody's going to know, and then you do that over and over and over again, and after a while you kind of go, you know what, just pay me my money, man. Just, you know. So I love acting, and so my biggest inspiration, you know, my grandmother raised me, and I've lived my life based on her principles, I guess, and that kind of keeps me sane. Because Hollywood is a crazy place. You realize that it's populated by crazy people. And they make strange choices, and they make weird movies, and you kind of go, why would you tell that story? Or, you know. So I've worked in it for 50 years, but I do it because it's what I can do, you know. And I feel, the one thing that I do that I feel confident about. I was in Detroit back in 1966, I think it was, and I just got into Detroit, and there was the great Valindas, you know, the tightrope walking family. They had been walking for centuries, this one family, and that's what they did. And so in Detroit in November, they had strung a rope between the two tallest buildings in Detroit, and the father was going to walk the wire. Well, the day of the tightrope walking, it was a big storm. It was the worst storm in history. The winds were blowing. It was snowing. It was really bad. And they said, we're going to call it off. But the father said, no, we're not going to call it off because I walked the rope. So it was all on TV, and I was watching, and he was on the rope, and the winds were blowing, and it was like, you know, snowing and raining, and he walked. When he finally got to the other side, he threw these blankets on him, and it was like amazing. I mean, he made it across, and I was watching, and they said, why do you do this? And he said, I do it because it's the one thing in the world I do better than anybody else. And I thought, how cool it would be to have something that you believed, now people don't have to agree with you, that you do this, you know, you're the best at what you do. This is what I do. That you own it. I think it's important to own your stuff. You know, this is who I am. And so that was my inspiration.
That was very inspirational. Next up.
Yeah, so don't worry about finding, people say find something you love. Don't worry about finding something you love. Just find something that you can do and do it.
Mr. Hudson, my name is Eva, and I'm from Miami.
Hi, Eva.
Thank you for being a part of my most favorite childhood movie.
Oh, thank
I
you.
adore it, and I watch it to this day.
You talking about the Hand Rocks the Cradle?
Yeah, sure. Not so much. But what I want to know is, we all know Hollywood is out of ideas, and they're just remaking.
Your voice changed there all of a sudden.
I can automate. Hollywood is out of ideas.
That voice is coming out of you again. I don't know. You know, I am a Ghostbuster, so.
Busted. How would you feel if they remade Ghostbusters? Not Ghostbusters 3, but they just completely remade the movie. How would you feel? Would you be a part of it?
How would I feel if they remade Ghostbusters and it was a total remake. And is that
A reboot, a next generation.
Next Generation? And so what happens to me? What happens to Winston Zeddemore? That's all I really care about.
You're the coach. You're the guy that teaches them.
I like coach.
You and Egon lead the new guys, but send the kids into it.
How much do I get paid?
Comparable.
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll do anything they say. So I don't care what they do. You guys care what they do. I don't care what they do. Just pay me.
And no more
And I'll
slime.
be there.
No more slime on you. The kids do that.
Listen, slime matters if you're not making any money. if you're making money, you just get paid. So yeah, I love Ghostbusters. I'm happy to be a part of it, but you know, when you go through the first movie, like I went through the first movie, and they change the script on you and don't tell you about it, and suddenly the character's gone.
Oh.
When the movie comes out and you're not on the poster, or you see the trailer and your character's not there, you kind of back up a little bit and kind of go, you know what, it's okay, it's all cool. You know, you just for your own protection, you develop a different approach to it. So right now, when they say we're gonna do a third movie, there's always that part of me kind of going, yeah, until I see the money, they might have anybody doing the other movie. So
was
I'm
it-
always a little bit cautious.
Now that's actually a new story for us. Was it originally pitched to you as a quartet, the first movie? Because I always saw them as the Three Musketeers, and then you're D'Artagnan. You become the fourth Musketeer, which is what the next book is called.
No,
but was they told you in the beginning it was a foursome?
So it wasn't a foursome?
Wow. Like you said, the way it was,
God, it wasn't a
like the-
foursome.
like the way you said it was marketed with Dan and Bill and Harold.
So you're saying it wasn't a foursome?
I'm saying you just said that.
Listen, no, it was the first script that Winston came in on the very beginning of the movie, and he was there.
Ah.
And then the night of before we were to shoot, the new script came and Winston was gone through the first half of the movie.
Ah.
So I'm still recovering from that one, okay? Somebody say, oh, wasn't it so much fun? Yeah, it was fun.
I minimized my part. Then, did you feel they took care of you on the second film then? Because Winston was right there from the beginning?
Compare me?
Yeah.
Sure. I was in the first scene, and I walk in the courtroom, and then I disappear for the first half of the movie. Anybody notice that? I'm the only one notice that?
Oh, sorry.
I ain't mad at nobody. It's all good.
Hi, my name is Beverly, and first off, pleasure to meet you, Warden Glynn.
Hi.
My boyfriend told me to say
Warden
that.
Glynn is from Oz, in case you haven't watched that. Yes.
First question. Are you still, in fact, not afraid of ghosts, of no ghosts?
Am I still, in fact, not afraid of no ghosts? You know, I grew up at a time when people were very sort of spiritual. They believed in things and they saw things. And so my grandmother who raised me, it was very real to her. So I kind of grew up believing there's something beyond what we see. So I don't play with that stuff. I get invited to come on ghost hunts. I get invited to do a ghost hunt in Mississippi at midnight. No. No. You know, no. I mean, I'm not looking for any ghosts. I mean, and a lot of the ghost hunters say they got inspired by Ghostbusters, and it's all cool. But yeah, it's not, I believe there's something out there, but I'm not going.
And you've done so much more than just Ghostbusters. What other roles have you truly enjoyed? Oz or any
I
of the
love
other?
doing Oz. I love doing the Hand Rocks of Cradle. I love doing Congo. I had a lot of fun with Congo.
Congo's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I loved The Crow. The Crow is one of my favorite movies, and thank you. And this is the 20th year reunion of The Crow, and I knew Brandon for about 8 years before we did the movie, and I just really liked him a lot. He was like a really cool young man, and so when the accident happened, it was just really, I'm still sort of, sometimes bothered by it. And
Where did they film Congo? Did you have to go out to the middle of nowhere, or was that just on a back lot?
No, we shot Congo at Sony Studios for about 2 months, and then we went to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
And we shot Congo, yeah.
My favorite moment in that, there's an amazingly silly scene where you're almost face to face with Tim Curry. So you're doing your British accent,
Yes.
and Tim Curry, who is English, is doing his Russian bizarre accent.
Right. Yes.
It looks like the two of you are almost ready to crack. Are you making each other laugh at that point?
No.
You were just smiling at him because you had that shit-eating grin.
I didn't think of my grin as being shit-eating. This guy has a way of phrasing questions, and it's like, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you got.
It was amazing. Well, it's an amazing scene.
Well, I'm glad you, love that shit-eating scene. So,
There we go. All right, next up.
No, it was fun. Tim was great, you know.
All right.
Hi, Ernie. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
Going back to Congo, being one of the movies I remember seeing way on back, one of my favorite films that you're in. What was that experience like coming from two really big effects-driven films being the Ghostbusters films? What was the filming of Congo like in terms of, in that respect?
I'm not totally sure I understand the question. So,
My apologies. Like coming from those two movies that had a lot of special effects, then
Right.
you had Congo that had a mix of practical and special effects.
Right.
What was the experience filming the movie like coming from those two movies beforehand?
yeah, well, Congo was, it was a lot of fun, and you adjust for the movie, so you do.
And then something like Oz is very real, very gritty.
Right.
No green screening in that.
When I got married when I was 18, and my wife got pregnant right away, and we both got into college, and then the marriage ended. And when the marriage ended, I was informed that I was going to take the kids. So I raised my kids as a single parent. The point of this is, when you have kids, you got to get a job. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a job. So if it's a comedy, I got to be funny because I got to feed my kids. And if it's dramatic, if it's special, I don't care what it is, just I got to get a job. I got to get this job. So it's not a matter of, and it's all good, but I know it's all different. And in the best case scenario for me as an actor is you're always trying to find something that you haven't done, something that's a little bit different, something a little bit challenging. And so Congo was great. I love Congo because if you're black in America growing up in the 50s, any jungle movie, African movie, if you were black in that movie, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? It's like it'd be like the great safari leader, and the cast, and then they'd have the black guys walking behind, and then it'd be like the cliff, and there'd be like a boulder, and then the boulder would, whenever the black guy got there, the boulder would run down and crush him. You know what I mean? Or the lion in the bushes would jump out and eat him. So for me to be the leader of the safari, that was kind of cool, and so I just had a lot of fun.
And as the character says, not have luggage on your head.
Yes. That was kind of interesting because what you saw was a lot of the modern man, and you saw the sort of not primitive but indigenous people. It was I just thought that whole juxtaposition of time was very interesting in the movie.
It was good. It was very good. Next up.
Hello, once
Hey,
again.
how are you, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you again. What is your favorite movie you've done of all your career of movies and TV shows? Which one would you say is your favorite?
When you're talking, all I can think of is those two lights are sort of shining up. Do I look weird up here? I'm thinking it's no, it's so good. It's so good. I don't really care, but I'm just suddenly I thought it might be very ghoulish looking up here, shining up my nose or something. Anyway, what's your question?
What's your favorite movie that you've been in, like of your whole career, TV or movies, or like
My favorite movie that I've been in?
anything from your acting career that you've been in? Would you say is your favorite?
I did a play called The Great White Hope. I played Jack Johnson, the first African-American heavyweight champion, and it was one of those jobs that took everything that I had to bring, because ultimately as an actor, you want to give something. What I love about doing these shows, these cons, is that you get a chance to meet people, but you also get a chance to to give something of who you are. So it's kind of cool in a way. So I hate taking something and not giving something back. So the problem I have with a lot of the work I do now is they want me in the movie, but they don't want me to bring anything. It's like, no, just say the word. You go, no, but you understand. I can't just show up. And they go, no, because the movie's not about you. The movie's about this guy. So that's the hard part. I just don't believe I believe you bring something to it. So that play was very challenging, and I really had to bring, and Congo was, and Hannah Rock's Cradle was fun, where you had to sort of dig a little bit deeper than. But I get asked to do a lot of stuff where they don't want me to. I like to work out and get in shape and bring my best. And I've done more movies where they really didn't want me to bring the best that I have to it. And that kind of is not fun.
And there's a thing that I saw. It's like one of those like stories that happen. I don't know if it's like supernatural stories. And
Yeah.
then there's one that you were part of, that you told a story that after the premiere of Ghostbusters, you and your family stayed in a hotel, and then you saw like a ghost type appearance, or I'm not sure
Yeah.
if that's a real story or not. So.
Yeah, it was. He's talking about there's a television show called what was it? Hollywood Celebrity Ghost Stories or something, and I told the story, and they paid me some money. So I told the story of after Ghostbusters, I was asked to come to this hotel in Arizona. It was up in the mountains in a city called Greer, and there was this lodge that was built on ancient Indian burial grounds.
Because that's always a good idea.
It was a good, it's a great place to. Anyway, people had gone to the hotel, supposedly, and seen things, and in the middle of the night, their covers would be ripped off their beds, and they would leave the hotel in the middle of the night. And so they paid me money to spend the night there. And so my son Rocky, who's with me, he and my wife, we went to the hotel, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, and this part is true, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, and there was this, it was like an orb, it was like a ball of light that was just sort of floating in the room. And it kind of floated over my son's bed, and then it just kind of, and I thought, wow, am I just kind of imagining this? So I woke my wife up, and we were in this hotel room, and we were in the one bed, and my son was in another bed, and so I woke my wife up and says, wake up, tell me, do you see? And she said, oh my goodness, there's someone in the room. I said, no, shh. So then the light sort of just hovered there, and then I called on my son, and then the light floated down toward the door, and then it just went black, intense black, and it was right by the door. And every time this black shadow would walk in front of the door, around the door you see the crack, like light coming through, it would block out the light. And so when my son woke up, he said, there's somebody in the room. There's somebody in the room, Dad. There's somebody in the room. So I flicked on the light, and there was nobody there. So then we kind of freaked out. We just lost it. So the television station had a room where they were going to be up all night with their infrared lights, and they were going to be monitoring because this hotel was. So we ran down the hall, and we went up to the room, and when we opened the door, we didn't see anybody, but across the way was the room that was supposed to be haunted, and this cold wind sort of came, and Marty said, oh, did you smell it? Just like in the movie. And so we ran down the hall, and we realized we didn't know where we were running to, so we went back to the room and just sat up all night and waited for the next morning when they were broadcasting live. So I went to the broadcast because I'd been up all night, and we saw this thing last night, and so they said, did anybody have any strange experiences last night? And I was going to say, yeah, I did, but one of the other guys there said, no, last night, you won't believe it. What happened was, I was in the room where we had set up our cameras, and all of a sudden the door opened, and then I heard these screams. It was like going down the hallway, and it just freaked me. And I'm like, well, that was us. We were the ones running down the hall. So anyway, so there was, and so they photographed it, and now they just called me a couple weeks ago. They want to go back to the hotel and revisit it again. My other experience about that experience was Ghostbusters hired a psychic who was supposed to be the psychic for the movie. Her name was Noni Fagat. Hey, cool, good. Now, hey, now that, hey, you know what? I love you guys so much, and that's when you have love. That's why I do it. It's when all the, it's when all the beautiful people come out and whistle and tell you they love you. Thank you, guys. Now get the hell back to your table. I'm in the middle of a story. So the
Spartacus cast doesn't get out much.
Yeah, Spartacus cast. Yeah, great guys. The
hotel wants
I can't remember. The hotel
you to revisit.
They wanted me to
Psychic.
revisit. Oh, the psychic. They had Ghostbusters hired Columbia, not Ghostbusters. Columbia hired a psychic to sort of go with their whole thing when they were coming out the movie. Her name was Noni Fagat. She spelled it Faggot. But it was, but she said it was Fagat, so it was Fagat, you know, okay. At any rate, Noni had a television show, and she had me and another person on her show. This is one of those things. So I'm on the show, and we're talking seriously about spooks and apparitions and all that stuff, and it's a very intelligent conversation. She took it very seriously. And then she said, I went to Greer. I told her about the experience. She said, I was at Greer, and I went to investigate. And I was in the room where the death had taken place, and there was another young man who died on a motorcycle. And while I was in the room, this ghost on his motorcycle came through the wall. And I was sitting there, me and this other guy, and I'm like, well, people have spirits, but do motorcycles have spirits? And this guy started laughing, and I started laughing, and we laughed for like the rest of the show. I just couldn't stop. It was one of those things where we just could not stop laughing. And anyway, so that's that's the story for that. Is that all right? Yeah, good. Hey, dude, how's it going?
Hey, Mr. Hudson, how's everything? My name's Victor.
Victor?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, everybody, this is Victor.
Listen, man, I'm a huge fan of yours. You're a big part of my childhood.
Good.
As I look down the Supercon roster, you're really the only person that stood out. I mean, I could care less about, you know, those the Spartacus guys or the Power Rangers or...
No, yeah.
Let them hear me, you know.
They're great guys, yeah, I know. But why are they getting 10 times more than I am? I don't understand that.
But listen. So my girlfriend's sitting over there. She's a huge fan of The Crow also.
Oh, cool, good.
Yeah, man. And last night I was in my house looking for something, you know, to maybe bring that I had to remember you by. And I have this double feature box set of both Ghostbusters.
Right.
And it astounded me that your name, you know, like how you know isn't on the front after all these years for the DVD reissue. They didn't think of putting your name back on there. And you know, either, you know, even though you were in the second half of the movie or whatnot, you still had your suit, you still had your Ghostbuster. You were acting with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, amazing guys, and it astounds me that you so I wanted it.
We're all going to write Columbia hate letters for the next reissue.
No, you know, in all honesty, and this is true, I think because people will mention, how come your name's not on the... I was with Ivan Reitman in New York.
Do you have a question? Because we need to get there in under an hour.
I have a question. I'm sorry. So my question is, if you could cross out, you know, just out of spite or a friendly, you know, hateful,
right,
cross out any of the names here, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Rick Moranis. He could go back to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you know, I don't know what he's doing there. And Sigourney Weaver, you know, you could leave her there. She's the only woman, but who would you cross out to have your name?
Who would I cross out?
Yeah.
If they said to me, okay, Ernie, we want to put you on the cover.
Yeah.
Who would you cross out?
Who would you cross out?
I'm like, you know what? It's goddamn ink. Put my damn name on there. I wouldn't take anybody off.
No, but
Man,
if you had to, if you had
I wouldn't. I love everybody. Why would I? You know?
Okay.
I ain't mad at nobody. They
Okay.
should have their name on there. They worked hard on the movie, so.
Yeah, we'll make more room right over here.
Yeah, no, I don't want to take any money out of their check. I just want them to pay me more. It's like, it's all good, you know.
All right, come on.
No, it's who knows, you know. It's but you know what? It's I think so much of life, and this has nothing to do with Columbia. It has nothing to do with anybody. It has to do with what you see, because at the end of the day, you want to make money, but it's not really about the money. It's about your spirit, and it's about what gets you up to keep your spirit up. Because when your spirit's low, your health gets low, your body wears out. So you gotta just see, you know, you can look at any situation and you see what you know, some dark stuff in almost everything. So, you know, my grandmother used to say, you gotta tell yourself a different story. You know, and I know that wasn't coming from any malice, or people say, was it racism? I don't know any of that. All I know is I had a great time. It's been 30 years later, you guys are still loving the movie, so I'm very, very happy to be a part of it. But, you know, if I got into that stuff, it would be like, you know, man, I'd be throwing chairs off the, you know, but so I feel very blessed, and thank you, I feel very blessed. And the important thing for me is that it wasn't just me feeling that, but the fans have, over 30 years, have come up and said, you know, wait a minute, I noticed certain things, so it's cool. It's all good.
Why, hello there.
Hello, Iron Man, what's up?
Nothing much. So I have a quick question. What was it like working on Transformers Prime, and like, how did they approach you about the role as Agent Fowler?
Well, I auditioned for the role. I was in Minnesota, and I auditioned in my my in-laws' car. It was no quiet place, so I went in the car and I recorded my voice and I sent it in. So I got Agent Fowler. I love doing Agent Fowler. It was really, and I've done voiceover work before, but this was like some of the best guys in the business. Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, just really amazing guys. And so at first I was a little intimidated because I thought, wow, man, these guys this is what they do. These are like the best, you know. But you know, once again, I think when you walk into a situation, no matter what you do, if you're an actor, if you're whatever it is you do, you just gotta go, you gotta own it. So, okay, they do what they do, and I do what I do, you know? I mean, so you gotta, you know, so it was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was great. It was one of the best experiences I had, you know, working with them. I loved it.
And how did you feel about having to yell Prime so angrily almost every episode?
Well, the character was very interesting, and I love the character, but he was a little bit, he was a little different, and that was fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Ernie, what's up, man?
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
You're in my favorite movie of all time, The Crow.
The Crow, yeah. I
Yeah.
love The Crow.
It was my favorite movie. It still is. And even though there was a tragic accident on set, you know, what happened to Brandon, do you happen to have any fond memories or funny stories from the set that you could share with us?
Well, because Bai Ling, you know who Bai Ling is, right? Bai Ling was she was in the movie. She was, I can't remember the character. Was the character's name? Whatever. Anyway, you know who she is. She's the Asian girl. She had just gotten here from China, and we were having lunch in my dressing room, and she had just gotten here, and we were talking, and Brandon was there. I'm telling this story, which is kind of a negative story, but she and I, we talked about it, so I'm sure it's okay for me to tell. So anyway, she was in the, we're all in my dressing room, and she was sort of introducing herself, and Brandon was talking, and he said something about his dad, and she said, "Oh, was your dad an actor?" But she just got me from China. I'm like, okay, all right. And Brandon looked at me, and I looked at him. I was like, okay. So she wouldn't let it go. She said, really? She said, what was his name? And he said, Bruce Lee. She said, Bruce Lee. So what does he do? and then from that point on, I just hated her. But once again, how you can misperceive things. Later on, I saw her, and that came up, and she said I had just gotten to America, and in China he's called something else. So I had no idea who Bruce Lee was because I hadn't. So all of that stuff. So anyway, I don't know if that was funny or not, but
It is.
no, it was The Pro was a hard show because it was shooting in North Carolina. It was freezing cold. They wouldn't go. They were going nights. They wouldn't switch over to daytime. It's always stressful. It was hard in a lot of ways. And it was Brandon was one of those guys who just gave a lot. So it was freezing cold, below zero sometimes, well, close to zero. And he's walking around with no shirt on because he's doing these scenes and he never complained. And I always felt that if he had been a little more complaining, he might still be around because all somebody had to do was check the gun. But anyway, that's afterthought. So, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Hudson. It's an
Hey.
honor to meet you. You quoted yourself earlier, if it has a steady paycheck, I'll believe whatever you want. How
Right.
often do you quote yourself? Because I quote you all the time, anytime I get a job.
How often do I quote myself? When you do a movie, you don't think anybody's going to be repeating these lines. I mean, every once in a while you get a good line and you think, okay, this line is going to stick. But generally speaking, you don't think of, that's a big Twinkie. You don't think or tell them about the Twinkie, or
Don't
I've seen
cross the
shit that'll
stream.
turn you white. I mean, there are lines that, even I love this town. It's like, but people find those lines. I don't know. Are there any lines from the second movie? I can't think of any lines from the second movie. I hate Jello. So.
There was something about the mood slime. Or,
What?
no, it's the big Twinkie line. That's the big one from the second movie.
Sometimes you get a movie where there's a line where you just go, okay, this is going to be a line. Where I was doing a movie called Leviathan. This is the 25th anniversary of Leviathan, and
I
we're
like that.
underwater, and we should be coming up, but they won't let us come up because they're telling us it's a storm. And she says the boss tells us to just relax and be calm, and she understands or something. And my line was, what was it? Something, bitch, we still here. and it was a great line. But unfortunately, Leviathan wasn't no Ghostbusters, so we don't talk as much about it. So, yeah.
I think this is going to be our last question.
Okay. Well, we'll do it real quick. This guy's been standing back there too. No, so he's the end of the line marker. Oh, he's in. Oh, you're just a marker. I'm sorry. Security. Security marker. Okay.
Hey.
Question.
So I'm thinking back to Ghostbusters. You got the job. You could support your family, but now you're finding yourself on a comedy filled with comics that are starring. So Winston's the everyman, and you're the actor. You're not a comic. So
Right.
how do you get your head around that? Is there pressure to be funny, or just how'd you deal with it?
No, I don't look at it like pressure. When I work, I don't think of it like, oh my God, I got to do these guys or whatever. It's like, I don't know. It's just different. It's like you do. The material's funny or it's not funny. It wasn't like you got to make. It's like a ball or something. One of those sort of. You just show up and you do what you do. I mean, you can be funny. I can be funny. I can do so. It's like, yeah, that's funny, but I got game too. So and it brings out the best in you. I mean, it's you want to play with good people because you get better. That's one of the things Hollywood does very badly is they'll have a movie and it's a decent movie, but they'll cast a guy who can't act. So then they'll cast bad people to try to make him look better. But the truth is, you should cast good people, and he'll take his butt home and do his homework, and he'll be better. So yeah, no, you want to work with the best people because that raises your game, and I love those guys. I mean, and what you do, nobody can really do what you do. I mean, who can do Bill Murray? I mean, it's like it's Bill. Harold is Harold. And I like to think Ernie Hudson is Ernie Hudson. So when I did with Psych
Yeah.
show, and I played Gus's dad, and I had a great time. I love those guys. I'd worked with Dule Hill in a movie called Sugar Hill, So I was doing a movie. They called me. They wanted me to come back and do the show, and I had a week to shoot. And so they went ahead and cast another actor to play Gus's dad, my part. And so they got Keith David. And I'm like, dude, you got Keith David to play. And they said, oh, well, he looked like you. And I go, is that all you really think? First off, he doesn't look like me. But really? You can't tell the difference? Because I can. So, and I love Keith. He's a good friend. And what he does is, but he doesn't do what I do. So, But at any rate, you just, you have to have that about whatever that thing is you do. I don't care if you're a plumber, if you're whatever. You can't go into it like, I suck as a plumber, so I'm only charging $1.50. You gotta play with some pipes, man. All right.
Everybody give it up for Ernie Hudson! One more time!